Very good morning, students. Today we'll have a discussion on internet concepts. You know pretty well about the internet. My dear students, we are going to have a small discussion on the terminology and the working condition of the internet. I am Dr. S. Prem Kumar, Senior Professor, G. Pulaya College of Engineering and Technology. In our day-to-day life, as food, oxygen, water, as a part of life, in order to lead our life, a better life, a healthy life, the order of the day, today we require internet. In order to perform the day-to-day activities, we require internet. It is demanded that without internet, there is no walk of life. The technology got commenced with Victorian internet. What is this Victorian internet? It is nothing but the telegraph. We made use of the telegraph in those olden days. Telegraph. If you ask your grandparents and parents, they will come to know, they will explain you what is a telegraph. It is made of Morse code with the dots and dashes. It was developed around about 1840s. If you want to send some message, the message is being telegraphed from one village or one town to another town, where the signals are being sent in the form of Morse code. The Morse code is nothing but it is a combination of dots and dashes. With the dots and dashes, the Morse code will be generated, the signals are being transmitted, and finally at the destination part you will be having dashes and dots, dash, dot. This is the pattern of a telegram message. 2 dashes means there will be a meaning. Consecutive 5 dots means there will be a meaning. Consecutive 4 dashes means there is a different meaning. 3 dots means there is a meaning. And a dot and dash there is another meaning. They will decode this. The signals gets transmitted, the electronic signals get transmitted from one town to another town, and these are the telegraph machines, and these machines will display dashes and dots like this. By observing these dashes and dots, they will decode the message, and finally they will encode. You get the actual message. The source used to send the messages to the destinations, to the target, with the help of these telegrams. This is nothing but it is a telegram message. The telegram message is being transmitted with the volts, positive and negative, plus or minus 15 volts. With the 15 volts of the message is being transmitted from one place to another place. This is a wonderful technology of 1940s, 1950s. It is a miracle how the messages are being transmitted between the geographically located distant places. There is a lot of appreciations and applause in 1840s. This technology is extensively used in between 1861 to 1865 in the period of Civil World War. That is the telegraphic technology. And later the advancement of the technical engineering field, in the field of communication sector, engineering field, they went with the next advanced technology is internet. After the Victorian networking, you got the internet. The internet is nothing but it is a network of networks that connects computer all over the world. Every computer can be connected to any other computer with the help of internet. You can establish the communication between the nook and corner computers, not only computers to any other device, you can establish the communication. Internet is also called as an information superhighway. It is a highway where you can transmit the information from one system to another system. And hence it is called as internet is an information superhighway. Internet is a global information system using TCP/IP protocol. What is protocol we'll discuss later. The internet internally works with the help of TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol. With the help of some internal protocols, a protocol is nothing but its set of rules and regulations which governs the internet is called protocol. If at all you want to do communication with someone else, there should be some set of rules and regulations to be followed. The set of rules and regulations which are to be followed on both the sides to establish the smooth communication is nothing but it is a TCP/IP. It is called as a protocol. TCP and IP stands for Transmission Control Protocol, and IP stands for Internet Protocol. With the help of this, you can do communication. You can get connected to any computer across the globe, and you can send the message. And hence it is called as a information superhighway. He is Winton. Dr. Winton is a person who designed the TCP/IP protocols. Coming to history of internet, 1969 there is a networking called as an ARPANET. Stands for Advanced Research Project Agency Networking. It is used by US military. Why it is used by military? They are not education, they are not students, they are not research scholars, they are not professors. The soldiers, in order to safeguard their land, their country, they used to wander with weapons across the borders of their country. Remember, I am talking about 1969. In 1969, you don't have mobile phones, you don't have communication segment, you don't have anything. When the soldiers are wandering across the borders of their country in safeguarding, they don't know whether they are alive or dead. They may be killed by enemies, they may be killed by animals, missing their routes. Because of the health problems, they might have expired. We don't know who are there, who are alive, who are dead. So there should be a sort of communication among the soldiers. In order to have a communication among the soldiers about their existence, about their safety, they thought of having some communication media. The communication media what they established using electronics is nothing but ARPANET, stands for Advanced Research Project Agency Networking. Using this ARPANET, the US military people, they used to do communication. This is a very successful segment of communication. Then what happened? 1969, when the military people are using successfully about the communication, the same thing they adopted for the universities. From the military segment, the university professors, research scholars, they adopted the same networking with certain modifications. This is used to do the communication about the research projects, what the research scholars are doing at universities. They used to share the progress of the research. This became a big hit among the student community, among the research scholars and the professors in the academic segment. Then in 1980s, this is being still modified. ARPANET is modified as Usenet, and the Usenet is modified as Internet. In 1980s, it is being called as Internet. The Usenet is further modified, it is called as Internet. The Internet is released for public. Now the public are able to do communication with their beloved ones, their relatives, their friends across the globe. And of course there are some constraints. And then they introduced the concept of World Wide Web, WWW. Previously they made use of FTP, now they made use of WWW, that is the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web is introduced by Tim Berners-Lee. That happened in 1991. Using this World Wide Web, not only text sharing, you can share the photographs, you can share the videos, we can share the voice, you can share the music, and all that stuff can be done. All the communication medias can be shared with the help of World Wide Web. Previously in 1980s, only text messages can be transmitted, but not voice, photographs, and videos. In 1991, when the World Wide Web was developed by Tim Berners-Lee with the concepts of browsers and web pages, then started the new role of internet. This is the brief history of internet. Let us have a brief summary of evolution of internet. 1945, MEMEX conceived, that is a multimedia internet extension, that is how to communicate with other computer. How a computer can communicate to another computer. That initialization, that idea is sprouted and conceived in 1945. Remember, computers are meant for computations, that is calculations, not for communication. Later, slowly, not only calculations, even the communications, not only computations, even communication should take place. That is the idea sprouted in 1945. Then how to establish the communication among the computers? Mathematical theorems are being designed in the communication with relational algebra, domain relational calculus, etc., etc. That is the data communications. 1958, go with the second generations of the computers, you got a silicon chip invention that has taken place in 1958. And they felt that the silicon chip can be helpful in establishing communication or networking among systems. First vast computer networking was developed in 1962. They are able to communicate multiple systems with cables and started communicating from one system to another system. That happened in 1962. Later, the development of technologies went to packet switching. That was invented in 1964. Packet switching. What is a packet? The huge message is being divided into smaller chunks which are being called as a packets. When we want to transmit a bigger message from one system to another system, the bigger message is being divided into smaller pieces, smaller units, which we call it as a packet. And this packet switching is being invented in 1964. And over networking lines, these packets will be transmitted from one computer to another computer. The small pieces of the information or the packets will be transmitted from one computer to another computer. On the another computer, these packets are being reassembled and the original message will be displayed on the system. This is called packet switching communication. It was developed in 1964. Later, you got hypertext invented in 1965. What is hypertext? Very sensitive text is called as a hypertext. The meaning is hyperactive, hypertext. Very sensitive text means when a text is clicked, it opens another text. Now in internet you can see there will be some links. When you click a link, it opens another page. In that page there will be some links. When you click that link, again another page gets opened. So clicking a link, opening another page, clicking a link, opening another page, that is a concept of hypertext. The hypertext concepts are being developed in 1965. Later on, as we discussed previously, United States of America military segment, they designed one communication segment which is called as an ARPANET, Advanced Research Project Networking, that was developed in 1969. In 1972, they designed TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol, that was created in 1972, which is very effective. Even today we are working with the TCP/IP. You can do communication among the two systems. Two geographically distantly located systems, you can do communication very effectively with the protocol, that is Internet Protocol, IP, Internet Protocol, TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol. That communication segment, advanced communication segment, was developed in 1972. 1984, they named it as Internet. Information Superhighway, previously they used to call it as the Information Superhighway, later it is being named as Internet. It is a networking of networks. This name is being coined in the United States of America in 1984. And this internet concept is released to the public, where they used to do text communication, only text communication. Later, in 1989, Tim Berners-Lee, he developed World Wide Web. The period is 1989 to 1993. Later, they designed the browsers, which is Mosaic. Mosaic is a browser. Present day, we are working with the Google Chrome, Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer. We are making use of browsers. Similarly, in 1993, they designed a browser which is named as a Mosaic, which is very popular in those days. 1995, e-commerce came into the picture. What is e-commerce? Money transfer over internet. Purchasing the goods over internet is nothing but e-commerce. Transfer of money over internet, that is nothing but e-commerce. E-commerce was developed in 1995. This is how the progress came. When you go from 1945 to 1995, it is an era where there is a tremendous development in the fields of internet. Technically, there are a lot of developments from 1940 to 1969, that is 1970. About 30 years of the time period is being spent by eminent personalities in order to frame the internet. 1945, the electronic computers were introduced. Why 1945 is taken as a period? Means John von Neumann, a person called John von Neumann, he designed random access memory and read-only memory for computers. There is a big revolution in the field of computer science in 1945. From 1945, we say it is a modern age of computer science. Why we call it as a modern age of computer science? In 1945, the computers got memory, ROM and ROM. Once the computer gained memory, the performance of the computers or the utility of computers got increased. So electronic computers was designed in 1945. Later, they introduced a concept of bits. Bits are nothing but binary digits. You give any information. For example, I am typing as Ramu, R-A-M-U. When I type as Ramu, this will be converted. R will be converted into ones and zeros. These are called bits. 1 0 0 0 1 1 1 1, like this. A will be converted into bits 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. M will be converted as 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. U will be converted into 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. So it is being converted. The message, whatever you type, it will be converted into binary forms. These are called bits. Bi means 2, ones and 0, 1, 0. It's called binaries. So when you type a message, the message will be decoded, will be converted into ones and zeros. This becomes a binary string. This entire stuff I am calling it as a binary string. These concepts were being developed in between 1945 and 1950. Later, as I told you previously, the silicon chips are being designed and they introduce the concepts of digital circuits. As the time is passing on, you got the network of computers, means one computer connecting to another computer. So a computer establishing the communication to another computers, that is being developed. As the time is progressing, we are starting from 1945. From 1945, the progress of time, there is a progress. The concepts of network of computers. A computer connecting to another computer and exchange of information. And they went with the packet switching. As we discussed previously, a larger message is being divided into smaller chunks, which are called as the packets. And these packets will be transmitted over internet, and the receiving system will reassemble the packet and they will get the message. That is the packet switching concepts. Hypertext concepts. Very sensitive text is called as a hypertext. When you click a word, it opens another web page. In that web page, again, if you click a word, it opens another web page. That is nothing but the hypertext concepts were developed. Later they went with the packet switching and WAN. WAN stands for wide area networking. It goes to wide area, that is internet. From country to country you can communicate, which is called as a wide area networking. There is a concept called LAN, stands for local area networking. Local area networking is in the sense communication among the computers within the same room or same building is called as a LAN, local area networking. You are having MAN. MAN stands for metropolitan area networking. Metros, from one city to another city or from one town to another town, you can do communication among the computers. That is called MAN, stands for metropolitan area networking. Later we are calling it as a WAN, stands for wide area networking. Distant countries you can do communication, and the improvement of this WAN is nothing but internet, which is a network of network or the information superhighway. Nook and corner of the globe can be communicated with the help of internet. These are the developments that has taken place between 1940s and 1969. Let us have a discussion on the benefits of internet, that is network benefits. When the computers are connected, one system getting connected to another system, what is the benefit? The benefit is time saving. You can just save the time. Within no time, I can transmit the message from one country to another country. You are saying a lot of time. Previously, we used snail mails, that is mails, post mails. We used to write letters. We used to put them in a cover, attach postal stamps, put it in the post box. It travels from one country to the another country. It may take some 2 to 3 months to travel a letter from one country to another country. And then there the letter gets delivered. It takes some 3 months of the time to dispatch a message from one country to another country. That is snail mailing system. That is outdated. That is the era of your grandparents and parents. Now you young engineers, you will be transmitting the message to any corner of the globe within no time through internet. That is time saving. It provides convenience. Yeah, this is convenience. Instead of writing the letter on the paper, going to the post office, purchasing cover, putting into that, attaching stamps to the cover, putting in the post box and all this, it is a hectic process. Now sit at home, through your mobile phone, connect to the internet, through your mobile you send the mail. It is so convenient and it is time saving and it is economical. It allows sharing of resources. Suppose I am having a printer, you don't have a printer, I am having a printer. Your message is to be taken on my printer. Yeah, you can take it with the help of internet. I am having disk storage space, you don't have. Your messages can be saved in my hard disk. You don't have hard disk. Your hard disk is full. That implies that you can utilize the resources. It may be my printer, it may be my scanner, it may be my fax machines, or it may be my hard disk space, whatever may be. You can best utilize the resources with the help of internet. It facilitates the communication. I can directly go with the text chatting or the voice chatting over the internet. At present, I am communicating through my voice chat. I hadn't switched on my webcam. I am doing communication to you with the help of my voice chat by unmuting my microphone. That is, it facilitates the communication. It may be video communication, it may be audio communication, it may be textual communications can be done. It generates savings, very cost effective. You can save a lot of money with the help of internet. It provides reliability. Genuine information can be transmitted. It provides reliability and it is scalable. Any number of the users can use internet. There is no hard and fast rule. Only 5 users should work internet, only 10 users should work on internet, only 1000 users should work on internet. It is scalable. The number of users working on the internet can be increased or decreased. These are the benefits of internet. Internet growing trends. If you see the graph of internet since 1945 till date, that is 2021, the graph is shooting up. You can see the graph is shooting up till 2021. There are constant increase of users of the internet and the various segment, education segment, or it may be a professional segments or the employees, whatever may be. In every segment they are making use of internet, and the number of users of the internet is getting increased day by day since 1945 till date. You notice the point. Internet growing trends. 1977, there are 111 hosts on the internet. There are only 111 hosts in 1977 on the internet. 1981, there are 213. 1981. In the small period of 3 years time period, in 3 years of the time period, almost all it got doubled. In 3 years of the time period, 1977 to 1981, the number of users got doubled, the number of hosts got doubled. 1983, again 2 years of the time period, it got doubled, 562. 1984, 1 year time span, it got doubled, 1000 hosts. 1986, you got 2 years of time, 5 times it got increased, 5000 hosts, 5 times it got increased. 87, 1 year time span, it got doubled. 1 year time span, the total number of hosts got doubled. 1918, 10 times it got increased to 1 lakh hosts. 1992, it went to 10 lakhs. 2001, that is 150 to 175 million hosts. 2002, over 200 million hosts. And 2020, 90% of the planet is internet, is being distributed, is being transmitted by the internet signals. So the growing trends, if you see from 1977 to 2020, the trend is very heavy, means the graph is increasing. Dear students, how the internet works? The internet signal is nothing but it is a radio frequency signal. It uses a radio frequency signal to send the signals between two devices. From one device to, for example, you will be having your router at your home. You will be using routers. With the router, you will be getting the signals to your computers, to your mobile phones. So you will be using Wi-Fi signals, routers, and these are your computers. You will be getting the internet signals, or these are your mobile phones. Let me say these are your mobile phones. For your mobile phones, you will be getting the internet signals. This is your cell phone. You are getting the signals, and the signals are being transmitted. These are nothing but the radio wave signals. As our voice is getting transmitted over phones, as our audio system is working, similarly the internet signal is nothing but the radio frequency signals which are transmitted from one device to another device. So there will be a transmitter which will be transmitting. For example, you take here a router. Your router is transmitting the radio wave signals which are being received by the receiver. The receiver may be your laptop, your desktop computer, or your mobile phone. A transmitter will be transmitting the signals and the receiver will be receiving the signals. The signals are nothing but it is a radio frequency signals. For Wi-Fi, the frequency is 2.4 gigahertz to 5 gigahertz. The frequency of Wi-Fi signal lies between 2.4 gigahertz to 5 gigahertz. The data is being transmitted in the form of radio frequency signals and need not cable always. You need not have a connectivity of the cable from one device to another device. Sometimes we go with the antenna communications. You see, observe here, I am having an antenna here. You can notice here, in my domestic networking, I am working, and the data which I generated from my system are transmitted with the help of a dish antenna, and the radio frequency signals are being received by the radio towers. The radio towers will again retransmit to the higher, that is the World Internet Service Provider. From the Internet Service Provider, ISP, Internet Service Provider, it is being transmitted to the Internet, and it is being again transmitted to another antenna. From another antenna, again the signals go somewhere to the domestic, to our friend's residence. It goes to the house of our friend. So me sitting here, I am typing some data over my laptop, and the data what I typed at my residence are being transmitted with the help of antennas, dish antennas. It goes there, it goes up, it goes to ISP, Internet Service Provider, it goes to Internet. From Internet it goes to again another antennas, it goes to another antennas. From the another antennas, it goes to the domestic houses where your friend will be receiving the data. This is how the transmission takes place. This is the wireless communication, it is going on. You observe carefully an important diagram. All of you, dear students, you focus on this diagram. You are typing some message at your residence. It may be a laptop or desktop. You are typing a message. Now we are going to study how internet works. When you typed that message, the message goes through modems, that is the modulators and demodulators. It converts the digital signal to analog signal and analog signal to digital signal. That is the role of modulator and demodulator. Modem, in short we call it as a modem, stands for modulator and demodulator. Whatever you message you type in your system is nothing but it is a digital signal. Digitals are in the forms of ones and zeros. A digital signal which is generated by your computer. With the help of modems, they will be converted into analog signals. Analog signal, a wave forms like this. These are analog waves. This is a digital wave. The computer always generates the digital wave. The digital signals are being converted into analog signals. The analog signals will be transmitted over the phone lines, telephone lines. It may be wide or wireless. So, through phone lines, your digital signal got converted into analog signal, and the analog signal is being transmitted over the phone lines. It goes to ISP. ISP is nothing but Internet Service Provider. For you, there will be a local service provider who will be providing internet for your home. He is called as an ISP, Internet Service Provider. Depending upon your area, if at all there are any internet problems or internet issue, you will be calling some person. He is an internet service provider. He will set right the things. So the message what you are typing are transmitted over the phone lines as an analog signal, and it goes to ISP, Internet Service Provider. From Internet Service Provider, the message will be transmitted to NSP, stands for Network Service Provider. NSP stands for Network Service Provider. Internet Service Provider who is local, he will be retransmitting the message goes to NSP, Network Service Provider. From the Network Service Provider, it goes to routers. A router is that which tells the shortest path to reach the destination. This is the destination computer. This is my target computer. The router is that it is a device which tells the shortest route where the packet should get transmitted. You observe here, the source typed the message. This is the original message, 123, 123. This is the message. The message is being divided into smaller units called as chunks, called as packets. These packets 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, these packets will be converted into digital to analog, and these packets gets transmitted to ISP to NSP, Network Service Provider. It goes to routers, and the routers will tell the shortest path. From router 1 it went to router 2, from router 2 it went to router 3, and so on. It crosses the various routers and the message is transmitted. Packet 1, packet 2, packet 3, packet 4, packet 5 and packet 6. All the 6 packets, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the 6 packets got transmitted in this way. And finally, all these packets are being received by modem, modulator and demodulator. At the source system there is a modem, and the destination system there is a modem, modulator and demodulator. This demodulator will convert the analog signals into digital signals, and it gives the computer, and the computer will display the message. This is the entire scenario how the messages are being transmitted from the source computer to the destination computer. I just repeat. Transmission of message from one system to another system. In our personal system, we type the message will be always in the digital form. This is a digital wave, ones and zeros. This is nothing but a digital wave. Your computer is sending a digital wave. This is the entire message. 1 2 3 1 2 3, this is the message. Let me say this message is being divided into 6 packets, smaller units. 1 2 3 1 2 3, 6 packets. The 6 packets got converted into a digital signal. The digital signal got converted into analog signal. The analog signals are being transmitted over the phone lines. The analog signals are being transmitted over the phone lines. It goes to ISP, Internet Service Provider. For you, there will be a local Internet Service Provider. He will be providing internet to your home. So, from all homes, all the messages will be received by ISP, Internet Service Provider. The Internet Service Provider will communicate, gets attached to NSP, that is Network Service Provider. The Network Service Provider will be maintaining the routers. The router is a device which tells the shortest path to reach the destination, target mission. This is our target mission. So through routers, the message, the packets gets transmitted, will travel one after another. They are again reassembled as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are reassembled, and finally the message is being displayed on the monitor. This is how the source message is being transmitted to the destination systems. Internet terminology, just we go with 1 or 2 words on the internet terminology. As I told you previously, ISP stands for Internet Service Provider. NSP stands for Network Service Provider. A router is that which tells the shortest route, the best route, which is the best route to travel the packets. Is nothing but it is a router, that is called as a router. A browser is a window through which you get connected to internet and you will watch. Presently you are listening the class through Internet Explorer browser, or sometimes you are working with the Google Chrome browser or Mozilla Firefox browser. Every computer will be having an address which is called as an IP address. For example, IP address is like this. It contains 4 parts. The IP address, every computer, your computer, my computer, every computer will have an address. That address is called as an IP address, Internet Protocol address, IP address. The IP address, it contains 4 parts. First part separated by dot, second part separated by dot, third part separated by dot, fourth part separated by dot. It contains 4 parts, and it contains the numbers. In every part there will be a number which lies in between 0 to 255. We call it as an IP address. While working with internet, you will be using URL, stands for Uniform Resource Locator. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator, where you will be typing www.gpset.ac.in. That is nothing but it is a URL. You have say here I will be typing the address www.google.com, www.gpset.ac.in, www.examplewebsite.com. So this is what we will type: www.apsrtc.com, www.irctc.org. All these are called URLs. The addresses what you type in the browser to see particular web page is nothing but it is a URL. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. Right? With the help of URLs, you will be connecting to the required websites or web pages. The facilities on internet are email, electronic mail, lot of information you can see, lot of services, airline reservation services. You can have the reservation services, movie ticket booking, banking, online food orders, online shopping, and all that services you can go. E-commerce, money transfer over internet, doing business over internet is nothing but e-commerce. You can communicate to the people over internet. You can have a discussion forums, you can have a text chatting, voice chatting, video chatting, and all that over the internet. So coming to the culture of internet culture, it is a critical evaluation of information is to be done. Every person is having a right to put information on internet. Which information is right, which is wrong, we don't know, and hence we need to evaluate the information. You should not trust the information. Don't blindly trust the information on internet. You need to evaluate the information which is right, which is wrong. There is a freedom of expression in internet. Anyone can express any sort of information. There are no restrictions and regularizations, and hence there will be a very good information, there will be very bad information on internet, because there is a freedom of expression. Either good or bad, you are having the right to express on internet, and hence that is called as the freedom of expression. Some they will cross their limits, which is very dangerous to others, which is irksome to others, because the freedom of expression. Coming to the communication mechanisms, you can type the text. Sometimes you can go with the emojis, smileys. You can put some smileys, emojis. Some may like the smileys, some may fire by seeing the smileys. Advertising can be done comfortably over internet. Google ads. You can go with the advertising ads on internet. There are social impact. All facts of life have been affected directly or indirectly with the internet. There is a lot of social impact because of this internet. The youngsters, they are getting addicted to internet. Without internet they could not stay. So now we are becoming handicapped without internet. That is nothing but it is a social impact. There are very, very useful websites, educational websites. There are some educational websites. There are some job websites, monster.com, naukari.com, clickjobs.com, hotjobs.com, jobs123.com, indianjobs.com. For the jobs, there are various job sites. You want to send greeting cards for Diwali? Yeah, there are some sites. 123greetings.com. There are some greeting card preparation sites with which you can prepare greeting cards and send to your friends. There are some tourism sites. I want to have a tour. For the weekend holidays, I want to have a tour. Yes, there are some tourism websites where you can book tickets and you can travel. Entertainment websites are there. Astrology websites are there. Exclusively websites for women. There are some search engines, google.com and for anything.com, altavista.com. These are all the various search engines. Google is very popular search engine to search the various websites. And when concluding, you can see that it has taken 38 years for radio to reach 50 million people. TV took 13 years to reach 50 million people. Coming to internet, it has just taken 4 years to reach the 50 million people. So this shows that how quickly the public is getting attracted towards internet and utilizing the services of internet. Coming to concluding, you enjoy the internet. It should be the technical enjoyment. It should be the academic enjoyment. And of course, you can refresh. You can acquire knowledge and improve technical skills. You people are going to join BTech, and hence it is your responsibility to be sound at technology. And hence you inculcate the habit of technical improvisation, that is technical skills, improving the technical skills. You get benefited out of this knowledge. Vast knowledge, you get benefited out of this. So with this, I would like to conclude the concepts of internet. Thank you very much. Bye bye.